Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. My name is Hriday Ranjan and here is a review of Mani Ratnam's PS2 from the perspective of a non-Tamilian. I had watched the first film and in some ways it was a little frustrating experience for me. The incessant introduction of new characters and each of the characters being referred to by multiple names. During the intermission, I was hoping that they had Aadhaar cards in historical times so that we could know these characters by their official names in order to clear the confusion a little bit. It was only during the intermission when I went through a pictorial family tree of the Cholas and the Pandyas and I was able to make some sense of the characters and their lineages. However, the first film did have its moments. It was beautifully shot and the entire experience was kind of an antithesis to the usual large-scale historical action epics that we see on screen. As someone who doesn't understand Tamil, PS2 suffers from some of the same issues that the first chapter did. The constant introduction of new characters, and since Mani Ratnam's aesthetics are so dramatic, you don't know which character will become a key figure in the story later on. So in a way, you're constantly on the edge of sorts, looking out for details, looking out for new characters and trying to ration out your attention. Karthi is still the most watchable among the lot. He modernizes the film in his own way. His antics, his expressions, they were the only anchor of modernity in the first film and that still remains. Mani Ratnam is also a master of drama, of creating two forces that are like the north and south poles of a magnet, magically drawn to each other and yet repelling each other if brought close in a certain way. Mani Ratnam further extends that in PS2, especially with the scenes between Aishwarya Rai and Vikram. In fact, that is how Mani Ratnam begins the second part. Even though the first part ended with a cliffhanger, he begins with a flashback of their teenage love. He peppers the script with these flashbacks, constantly upping the tension and making you wait for them to finally meet. At the same time, the second part is also lighter on its feet. In some ways, the first part seemed like a montage of many moments that you knew were important, but you kind of found it difficult to keep track of. Here, Mani Ratnam gets the pacing absolutely spot on. He plays around with the troughs and the ridges of the story much better and gives more moments for Karthi's comic timing to shine, especially in his scenes with Jayaram. AR Rahman is also wonderfully subtle in this movie, reminiscent of his early works in films like Iddaru. Rahman is not the EDM techno-heavy Rahman that we have seen in the last decade. Here he goes back to flutes, santoors, sarangis and cymbals. His soundtrack is a melodious leitmotif in this bloody story of bloodlines, bloodshed and revenge. Aishwarya Rai is fantastic and Mani Ratnam uses her wonderfully. You get to see her origins, the seeds of her pining, plotting personality. And Mani Ratnam gets the flashbacks right too. Take for example the young Nandini. When she is in love or even when she is being banished, her face still has the stoic, stone-hearted expression that she retains in her adulthood. And when the two actors finally meet in this movie, the scene is hauntingly beautiful. This film also works better as a character sketch of the siblings. We see the hot-headed Vikram, the patient Trisha, and we also get to notice the difference in character between these siblings and Jayam Ravi. Cinematographer Ravi Varman's frames in the first installment were majestic, and somehow his work in the second has been a step up. Like, look at how he films the three siblings. As Vikram becomes more reckless, more suspicious and unhinged, the camera jerks, slants and reflects his restlessness. When he films Trisha, the sanest of the three, he uses extreme close-ups to depict a person who fights with her mind. And when he films Jayam Ravi, he uses long shots to reflect his calmness, his silent bravery. PS2 does seem a little long though, since I haven't read the book and I am not really aware of its importance in Tamil literature. I felt that Mani Ratnam tried to fit in too much of the book into this movie. The fight scenes also are not really the highlights of the movie, but credit to director Mani Ratnam for making a historical epic where the battle scenes are actually not as dramatic as humans speaking to each other, proving that the biggest battles actually take place in our minds and not on battlefields. After being used to epics from SS Rajamouli, the fight scenes actually seem a little amusing over here. However, PS2 is not really going for the fight scenes. It is not trying to be an action entertainer. It retains its intentions of being a dramatic film about politics and the fight for the throne among allies and enemies. PS2 is much more satisfying than the first installment. I would go so far as to say it is a work of art. And Mani Ratnam proves that he is still the master of his craft, Be prepared to be a little patient, and the world of Ponniyin Selvan will draw you in with its beauty, its dramatic scenes, and fantastic performances from Aishwarya Rai, Vikram, Karthi, and Trisha. The seniors really step up and show the kids how it is done in this wonderful epic. I would recommend that you brush up on the first part and watch PS2 in theatres. Mani Ratnam truly is one of the masters of our times. Keep watching Film Companion South for more reviews, interviews, and videos. Thank you.